Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and I was gonna do a what do you call it? A year-end roundup. I had a very hard time with this, considering the last couple weeks. So these are my top 10 decks of 2023. I had a very hard time because I had a lot of decks that I liked this year. I would say these are firmly in the top 10 decks I got this year. I will do another video of runners up, which is, I have more in that video than I have in this video. Because this is just top 10 tarot. And then I have a top 10 oracle as well. As you guys know, I haven't been around much. If you've been paying attention, I've just done walkthroughs. I haven't done my regular deacon walk or none of that. I've had breathing problems for the last 3 years and other female problems. And come to find out, I was in congestive heart failure for the last 3 years. The breathing was due to a couple different blocked arteries in my heart, and I actually wound up going to the emergency room the 8th. They wound up figuring out what it was immediately, and I had immediately emergency stent put in one of the arteries because they were completely blocked. They thought I was actually having a heart attack. Since then, the breathing has gotten a lot better. I do have 2 more stents I have to have put in. It was traumatizing. And then literally I got out of the hospital on Monday, I think the 11th. By Friday I had COVID. So literally within a week, I said that's only my luck can be that way, where the beginning of the week I'm getting out of the hospital from having a heart attack and having a stent put in, and by Friday I had COVID. The same week. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And so I've been in and out of work and all kinds of stuff. Like I said, December's trying to kill me. And then on top of that, my husband having to pick up the slack and do all the presents and wrap them and do all these things and that I normally do. I just feel like, and now Christmas is in 2 days because today is 12/23/2023, and it's just been like a roller coaster the last couple weeks. And so I thought, just to get back into things, that I would go ahead and do a kind of a cleansing video, which is what this is. This is my top 10 roundup, top 10 decks of 2023. Like I said, these probably are firmly in my top 10, but I have a lot of runners up, which I will do a whole other video on. So, without further ado, and further ramble, let's get into this. And these are in no particular order, simply because I had a hard time deciding on the 10, let alone ranking them from 1 to 10. So I'm just going to get as closely as I can in order of when I bought them. So for the first one, and I usually do this video, like the top 10 decks that gave me the feels or whatever. I usually do this deck haul on my channel anniversary, which was November 10th. So that was 4 years on November 10th, and I just kind of completely spaced on it. It's been a year. So anyway, without further ado, the first deck that gave me the feels this year that really shocked me to my core was the Rosebud Tarot. This is the mass market version by Wiser Books. It comes in a 2-part box. I kept seeing this deck around and seeing it around, and I saw the indie version and I edged it in pink. What else you're going to edge that in? Come on. Everything on this deck is pink. And I love it. I don't like the cardstock, but I like it better than some of the other decks I have that I've gotten in, and I'm like, whoa, what is this cardstock? It shuffles great. It's almost like a smaller oracle size. It's not tarot size. And I probably should get a normal tarot out just to compare, but I'm not going to. This deck shocked me simply because I got it out of curiosity. I immediately started reading for family with it, and it was so freaking accurate that it wasn't even funny. Yeah, it was crazy. And it's so accurate that I actually deem this as my sister-in-law's deck now, because every time she asks for a reading, I pulled this deck out, and it's been accurate AF. Just things that were going on in her life. Like, I didn't know her husband was having to have his own heart thing going on. And I kept pulling, the Three of Swords. And I'm like, is he having heart problems? She goes, how did you know? And then there was the other things where she's thinking of starting a podcast with a couple of girlfriends. I even saw in the cards, the cards were telling me how her and her sister were going to do a podcast. And that whole thing was something that she was already thinking about. And it was just crazy. And I'm like, what? Like, every time I pulled a card from this deck, it's been accurate. It's one of those decks that I never saw myself reading for regular people. I always do like mediumship stuff. But this deck reminded me that you can read for regular people in their regular, everyday, mundane things. This deck will tell you exactly what's going on with them. No frills, no extras, just this is what's happening, and you need to either fix it or deal with it. And I love this deck. It very much shocked me when I was having all these, profound, accurate readings, and I'm like, what is happening? Same can be said for the Uncommon Tarot deck too. This is a mass market deck as well. This is also Wiser Books. Wiser Books, man. This deck has been out forever. And I kept seeing it because of one of the other decks in my top 10. And I'm like, I want it. Silver Gilded. I was contemplating another deck that's in my top 10, which I'll tell you about it when I get to it. It's thin cardstock, but it shuffles great. Silver Gilded. This deck, as much as the Rosebud Tarot shocked me for live people, this one has shocked me for mediumistic reads. This is very much a mediumistic deck for me. I've pulled cards and just started telling a story, especially with my neighbor. Like, a lot of spirits surround her. I pulled a lot of cards, and I would start, because it's so collagey, I would start telling the story about whatever was in the image. I'm like, oh, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And she's like, oh my God, you're right. How do you know? How are you knowing these things? And like I said, but before, I always knew I could read mediumistically with cards, but this deck kind of opened that gate wide open this year, and just kind of, there was like a flood of readings done with this deck that was just like, what is happening? And it would be accurate AF every single time. And like I said, this deck did for me mediumistically what the Rosebud Tarot did for living people. And I love it for that. And it is one of my go-tos. Every time I do a mediumistic read, I pull this deck out. And I love it. That was deck 2. Deck 3, now I don't understand. I don't know. Actually, this one came in first, but it's an indie deck. It's actually one of the first ones I got this year. So I'm not doing them in any particular order, I guess. This is the Pensive Path Tarot. It is a thin, like, make-plain cardstock. I got it off Etsy. I want to say Etsy. Pretty sure Etsy. They have their own, Reese Marin has her own website too. So you can go to their, there's the Etsy and the curated card. I got this deck specifically because I have that's the deck that's not in here. I have the Stretch Tarot, which I love. I got another version of it this year also, but this Pensive Path Tarot reminds me of that. It's also a mediumistic read for me. I tend to get most of my decks here in the last year or so based on them being a mediumistic type deck for me, because I am a medium. And so I've actually had quite a few. Oh, my thing just went off. That's crazy. I've had quite a few very crazy readings with this based on places, which is weird. Like, I would go to places that I knew were haunted, or, oh my gosh, why? I would go to places that I knew, sorry, my thing was just not wanting to work. And I would do readings for those places, those locations, and this deck was spot on. And I'm like, what? Especially with this card here, it looks like the village I went to a wedding in February and pulled that card. I'm like, oh yeah, because it looked just like the town. And it's crazy. But this deck is very, again, another one that kind of opened up mediumistic tarot readings for me, more so than it was. I knew I was supposed to be doing that, and then I made a pouch for it, which came out beautiful. So that's deck 3. Oh my god, we're only on deck 3. Deck 4 is the Forager's Daughter. And we're already halfway through this. I need to speed this up. Forager's Daughter, I talked about. It's beautiful. Got this gold gilding. It's beautiful. Linen cardstock that doesn't slide. I got this deck simply because I recognized that it was my grandmother in a deck. My paternal grandmother, who's been gone for a very long time. And as soon as I got it, I was like, oh yeah, she's here. It's sweet. It's beautiful. Got a heart of gold, and that's my grandmother. Like, that was my grandmother to a T. She was beautiful inside and out. This deck is beautiful inside and out. I don't, just like with the Mary L, that's my other grandma, my maternal grandmother. I don't use them very often, but when I do, you can tell their presence is nearby. It's their decks. I'm just the conduit that helps them use the decks. So that's deck 4, and if I remember, I'll post a link below to my walkthrough of this. I was basically emotional through the whole thing because I recognized my grandmother throughout the deck, and it was crazy. But that is deck 4. Deck 5, I got this more at the beginning of the year also, the Tarot of Oneness. Stunning deck. I have no complaints. Look at the book here. Look at that. Edging, pink, beautiful, stunning. It's got a shimmy I love. I love it. I love it. I've talked about this specific card here, which is the reason I bought it. It brings back very vivid memories for me. Most of this deck does. I have no complaints. But this is very emotionally tied to past memories and kind of trying to recreate those past memories or change them if they're bad. And I love this deck for that. I love this deck for, you did have some good times in the past, own them. Because we always tend to, for those that come from abusive homes and have abuse in their history, tend to focus on those and not the good things that happened in their life. So this deck helps bring that out for me, helps bring out those memories that were good. And I love it for that. So that is the Tarot of Oneness. That's deck 6. That was deck 5. We got 5 left. So, for the last half of the year, we got Tarot of the Cosmic Seed Part 2, 2nd edition. This is the deck that I was contemplating buying when I saw the Uncommon Tarot, this deck. And something said, well, buy the Uncommon Tarot, and if you like it, you won't need to buy this one, because this one's much more expensive because it's an indie deck. It's got the nice shimmy I like. It's got the beautiful cardstock. It's got the beautiful teal edging. The backs are different on this edition. But what happened was when I got the Uncommon Tarot, I'm like, yeah, I still want it. And so I went ahead and bought it. And it does exactly what the Uncommon Tarot does for me also. They both are very mediumistic reads for me. I've read for family with both of these decks, and both of them are just like, what is happening? So it's kind of like a backup. So if I read for somebody and they don't care for the Uncommon Tarot, they'll like this one. And they're both collage decks. They both have a very similar vibe. They both do the same thing for me. And so like, it's never hurt. It never hurts to have a backup. But this is a stunning, stunning deck. Except for the 2 snakes in it. It's a stunning deck, and I love it to pieces. I have not regretted buying either one of these decks. They are stunning, and I love them both. So that is the Tarot of the Cosmic Seed, 2nd edition. I love it more because there's not as many snakes, because the backs of the 1st edition had snakes on the backs, and I'm like, I'm glad they changed. So the last couple months of the year is the next 4. And we have the Sacred She Tarot. This is by Ma Diva Padma. This is this is the publishing company. It comes in a bigger box with a book, and then it comes inside that box in this tuck box. I don't care for the cardstock because it's thin, but it shuffles great. It's like a rubber band. I did edge it in this light purple to kind of match the purple here. Came out beautiful. The blue is the cups. They all have codes, keywords. The green is the pentacles. This deck is stunning. Swords is the gray, and wands is the red, and then the purple bottom is the majors. But they all have keywords, and I freaking love this deck. I saw it, and I'm like, oh, I was going to get this deck, and I didn't realize it was out already. So I bought it, and I've not regretted it. This deck is amazing. I've used it so much. It is so stunning. There's been so much in this deck that just, I love it. 2 pieces. It's been stunning. Beautiful, beautiful deck, and I love it. 2 pieces. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Next is the Lei Tarot Arthurian by Claire Duval. Artwork by Anatorian. It comes in a bigger box with a bigger book. This was from the French Amazon mass market. So is this one. I just don't know the publishing on there. It's gilded in gold. It's got the shimmy of an indie deck, and it's not. It's beautiful backs. I don't care what Anatorian's artwork looks like. Her decks will always shoot to number 1, top 10 on my list. I just put the pre-order on the Tarot of Echoes, and if I remember, I will post the link for that below, because orders are now open to the end of January, and I'm so freaking excited for it. I've been waiting on Tarot of Echoes for a while. You can tell this is her artwork. It's so stunning, so beautiful. This was not going in my top 10. And like I said before, I don't even care if it's in a different language. It's very easily RWS, so it's very easy to tell what it is. If she did a deck in every language, I'd have to buy it. Now we have the Witch Sisters Tarot. This was not going in my top 10. It is stunning. It is Llewellyn deck. It is Julia Jeffrey is the artist, by Barbara Moore. I did edge it in this hot pink, kind of to match, or it's like an orange to match the backs. It did bleed a little bit, but it is typical cardstock of Llewellyn. I freaking love it. Again, this was a highly anticipated deck this year. So was the Lei Tarot Arthurian. These 2 were just like, yeah, I'm not getting them, and they're gonna be in my top 10 regardless. Just because they're so freaking, look at that. They're so freaking stunning. So beautiful. And I love it 2 freaking pieces. I've already done some readings with it. It is, to me, typical for this time of year. So is the other one, the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. I typically pull that deck out this time of year. So this one was no different. It's the same kind of energy, just witches, and I freaking love it. There's a very deep connection there, even though I don't consider myself a witch. To me, there's a very deep connection there that I have yet to fully explore, and I'm excited to explore it. So that was deck 9. Deck 10 shocked me. It is the Cersei Tarot by Lo Scarabero. I freaking love this deck. I've used it nonstop. It comes with a little white book, which the little white book is getting better. It's all one language this time. It's the whole book is the deck, the English side. I did edge it in this dark purple to match the back. Why does that keep going off? That's weird. It is the Cersei Tarot, which it's the Great God and Goddesses. It's the tuck box, 2-part box, or tuck box, low scare barrow box, so it shuffles. Oh my gosh. Shuffles perfectly well. I don't know why this keeps shutting off. And now, okay. It's stunning. It's stunning. I love it. It reminds me of the Anna Kay, kind of. I don't have the Anna Kay. I've never been interested in the Anna Kay, but this reminds me of the coloring in it. But the readings I've had with this have been profound. Like, it talks about the different Greek gods and goddesses. It talks about the demigods and their ancestors and who fathered them and who was the mother and all these things. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's deep. It's deep, deep. And I freaking love it. It is a little bit RWS, but there's some cards that kind of go their own way. I have not stopped using it. It's freaking beautiful. I've also used it for mediumship readings as well. It's stunning, and I love it. 2 pieces. So this one kind of creeped in there, and I was like, oh my God, I love you. And I know that because I've not put it down. And the box is already falling apart because it's a tuck box from Low Scare Barrel. But that is all my top 10 decks this year that just either floored me, gave me the feels, did something to me that was just like, yes, I need you in my life. And there was a profound reason why they were in my life. But that's my top 10. I'm going to do top 10 Oracle soon-ish. Yeah, and I just got my last deck in yesterday, which was the Good Omens Tarot. So I'm not expecting any more decks this year unless I got, I do have a gift exchange at work that's going to happen after Christmas. So we'll see you then. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, if you have any of these decks, let me know. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're loaded to any future videos. And y'all have a good night. Bye.